So the second thing is the biggest challenge the students are facing is exam. You call it exam phobia, you call it exam tension, you call it exam stress. So when you are writing the same exam in your house, that is a different mind game altogether. But when you are writing in the examination hall, in the environment, in the exam environment, that is completely a different story. It is something like net practice versus playing the real game. So in the net practice, you will not have any stress. Okay, when you are practicing, you can practice properly. But when you are facing the opponent in the ground, it is altogether a different mind game. For that, today I will tell you certain do's and don'ts. What are the common mistakes done by people? What are the common mistakes done by people? Okay, so first look here, the foremost thing. You call it a successful candidate, or you call it a ranker, or you call it any person who can clear group 1 or group 2 in first attempt. You'll be wondered at times, amazed, oh my god, this guy has cleared both the groups in one attempt. This guy has got all India rank in the first attempt itself. How? Remember one thing, all these people who crack examinations, you call it CA exams, you call it UPSC or civil exams, you call it NEET or JEE, you call it IIT entrance exam or any engineering entrance exam, any exam you take, any exam, all the successful candidates will have one factor in common. All the successful candidates have one factor in common. Do you know what is that factor? Time management. My dear friends, I am telling you, don't take me wrong for the negative sentence. If you cannot manage your time properly, that 3 hours, there are very less likely chances that you will clear the exam. So the first and foremost thing is know how much to write, in what time it is to be written, how to manage that 3 hours. So you should know how to manage that 3 hours. So 3 hours of exam. So probably I will tell you, I am in a best situation, in a better position to tell you how to write exam for a reason. I will tell you. When I was writing my cost accountancy final exams, CWA final, can you believe 2 exams are held on a single day? That was like that. Earlier, that was like that. So 9:30 to 12:30, I have to write CWA final group 1. And after 1 hour gap, 1.5 hour gap, 2 to 5, I have to write group 2. So morning group 1, evening group 2. So those days, can you believe, December 26, 27, 28, 29, 4 days. December 26, 27, 28, 29, standard. 4 days. Morning, evening, morning, evening, morning, evening, morning, evening. 4 days, 8 exams, khatam. No Sunday, no holiday, nothing. 4 days, 8 exams, final level. You can understand what is the emotional stress we used to undergo. And another thing is, surprisingly shocking thing is, unless you write both the groups and clear both the groups, you will not get a rank. So I am a prospective ranker. In foundation inter, I got ranks. So in final also, I was trying for rank. I got All India 5th rank in CMA final and All India 1st rank in CMA final group 1. Those days we used to call it stage 3. Can you believe, on the 3rd day, I literally fainted in the exam hall. I'm serious. I literally fainted in the exam hall. It was so much of stress, mental tension, kind of, depression. You will not have enough time to eat and drink water also. So 3 hours morning taxation is over and evening you need to write costing exam. Imagine how the life will be. And that to final level, this big syllabus. That is the reason, because I have gone through that level of stress. And so many exams I have written, CA exams I have written, CMA exams I have written, Masters I have written, PGDFM, okay, BCom, MCom, this kind of stuff. So that is the reason I am telling you. I can give you my experience which helps you real time. So try to understand my mathematical equations. Okay, so 3 hours exam is for 100 marks, isn't it? So this 100 marks exam, in how many minutes you can write? 180 minutes you can write. So 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 3 hours means 180 minutes. So out of this 180 minutes, like Lord Ganapati, you cannot write continuously, no? So when he was writing Mahabharata, when Vedavyasa is telling him, so he can write continuously. But we are human beings. You need some time to think, to form the answer, to breathe, or to knuckle your fingers, or to look at this side, that side, or to understand your mental stage, or to come out of the shock, or to wipe your tears and manage your hiccups. So you cannot write 180 hours, I'm telling you. Reading the question, forming the answer, analysis, all these things will take a lot of time. So what I believe is 30 minutes you need to give as a normal loss, mandatory, inevitable, inherent. 30 minutes you have to mandatorily give to read the question, understand, forming the working notes and main answer in your brain, which will subsequently be put on the paper. You understand? So imagine you are doing a problem on consolidation, you are doing a problem on internal reconstruction. How big the question will be? You are doing a banking company problem or you are doing a partnership dissolution. How big the question will be? So one balance sheet will be given, or one holding company balance sheet, subsidiary company balance sheet, and then additional information will be given. And then, you need to read 2 pages of drama. So don't you think at least you need 5 minutes to read that and understand? 5 minutes to read that and understand. Minimum. That is very much required, because based on your quality of reading the question, quality of understanding will depend. Based on the quality of understanding, quality of answering will come. So take 5 minutes of time to read the question very carefully and understand it, because the traps in the exam will be like, sometimes they will say year 2019 profit 10 lakhs. Sometimes they'll say year 2018-19 profit 10 lakhs. The whole answer will differ. Why? Because the first one is calendar year, second one is financial year. First one is 1/1/2019 to 31/12/2019. Second one is 1/4/2018 to 31/3/2019. Now imagine you need to proportionately divide pre-acquisition, post-acquisition, capital revenue, these kind of things based on the time. Or imagine you are calculating EPS and you are doing pre-writes how many months, post-writes how many months. Like this kind of calculations, your wicket will be bowled if you are not reading problem qualitatively. So first and foremost thing, you should have 100% presence of mind while reading the question. This is the first principle every ranker follows. So with calm, peaceful mind, focused, concentrated mind, read the question. Take 5 minutes of time, read the question. Okay, these are the important points. Highlight, underline with pencil, whatever you want. Okay, then your mind is ready. Emotionally, psychologically, mentally, you are ready. Then take a long deep breath, start writing. Now, if you understand effectively, you have only 150 minutes. So, for writing 1 mark, you have 1.5 minutes. For writing 1 mark, you have 1.5 minutes. That means if you are writing 4 marks question, you have to write 6 minutes. If you are writing 5 marks question, you can write only 7.5 minutes. If you are writing 6 marks question, you can write only 9 minutes. If you are writing 10 marks question, you can write only 15 minutes. Even if your answer is 100% right, but if you are taking more time than what is required, my dear friend, wake up, open your eyes, you failed already. So you cannot, stretch the answer for 30 minutes, 40 minutes and all. Usually this happens in your board exams. When you are writing 10th, 11th, 12th exams, or when you are writing graduation exams, what we do, we take one problem and we'll write it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes. So at the end of first problem, when you look at the time, 1 hour will be there. My dear friend, if you do the same thing in CA examinations, do you think you'll be able to manage the remaining part of the question paper? No. So when you read a question in your mind, you should do a rehearsal. You should do, a kind of thought process. It should be like, okay, this question is given for 4 marks. I can write in 6 minutes. In 6 minutes, how many points I have to write? 8 points I have to write. What are that points? Important points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chalo, now I'll write. Pawan sir, do you think a student can do that? Definitely a student can do that. Nothing is impossible. I have done that. I am not teaching you something hypothetical, okay? I am telling you something what I have done. What a student ideally is supposed to do. You have to do that. So first thing is, for how many marks this question is given, based on that only you have to write the answer. Based on that only you have to write the answer. Imagine in a paper like audit, one basic question they asked about audit assertions, or about the responsibility of the auditor in the context of fraud, SCA 240, or what are the requirements of requirements that are to be followed by a firm, audit firm, in the context of SQC 1, standard on quality control 1, or they might have asked you standard on auditing 220 quality control policies. You can write 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours. I can teach one particular topic assertion. If you give, I can teach for 5 hours. But the point is, you should not write what all you know. You should write what is relevant there. You should write based on the marks. So for audit evidence, you can write 2 marks question, you can write 4 marks question, you can write 10 marks question, you can write 20 marks question also. Based on how many marks it is given for, size of the answer and the time taken depends. So unmindful of the marks, if you are writing the answer, even if it is correct answer also, at the end of the day, you will be a fool. At the end of the day, you will be a fool. There is one great poet, very big poet in Telugu. His name is Viswanatha Satyanarayana. Very Gnanapita awardee. Very big guy. He told about that poetry in the modern era in the Telugu literature. They asked one question when he was writing BA. So all the 3 hours he wrote only one question. All the 3 hours he wrote only one question, because he knows the subject to that level. So that question is given for 10 marks. So he wrote all the 3 hours, but he completed only 10 marks. He got 10 out of 10, but he failed in the exam, no? Next time when he went to write the examination, he went with a mind that I should not write more than what I am supposed to write. This is a classic example I heard, and I did it in my life, and you have to knock it down to the minutes required. So what is rule 1? Time management is very important. For 1 mark you can spend only 1.5 minutes. Do not exceed that. For quality of reading, spend 2-3 minutes of time or 5 minutes of time in reading the question. This is part 1. This is part 1. In do's and don'ts, the first thing is time management. For this, you have to write mock exams. In ICI website, they have given all the 8 papers of new syllabus, all the 7 papers of old syllabus CA IPCC, and also if you are doing final, they have given final mock test papers also. MTPs are there. Suggested answers are also there. So you take printout of, or you download that question paper, read that, and strictly in the examination environment, no cheating. Even there is no invigilator, you are conscious, you are answerable to your own consciousness. Write the exam, then you will understand where you are lacking. Then evaluate your answer with the suggested answers given in the website. You yourself will come to know where you have strong points, where you are weak, where you need to correct yourself. All these things you will come to know. Do that once. And I strongly believe, many people criticize the boards, CA Institute or CMI Institute, CS Institute, or IITs, IIMs. They say the examination process is tougher. The person evaluating paper will have a stone heart. He is not emotional guy. He is not a human being. Okay, he has one stone here, and all these things. I tell you one thing, boss. These kind of professional institute, they follow a process. Stepwise marks will be given. So if your balance sheet tally is 20 out of 20, if your balance sheet is not tallying 0, this is not any graduation examinations. They follow some standard. So what they do is, they will give the breakup. They will give the breakup. Now I am entering into my second part. So what is the first part we discussed? Part 1 is how to manage the time. Okay, what is the rule here? 1 mark is equal to 1.5 minutes. So what to do? Don't exceed this limit. Before writing answer, read the question carefully. Okay, this is part 1. Okay, are we thorough with part 1? Now what is part 2? presentation. Part 2 is presentation. Knowing answer is one thing. Presenting that on paper is another thing. I'll give you one live demonstration. Okay, I'll give you one real-time example. Imagine, look here, there is one question on my screen. This is from ICI study material, Accounting Standard 12 Government Grants. This is previously asked question in the exam. Okay, so read this. Santosh Limited has received 8 crores from government for setting up a factory in a backward area. Out of this grant, the company distributed 2 crores as a dividend. Also, Santosh Limited received land free of cost from the state government, but it has not recorded it at all in the books as no money has been spent. In the light of AS12, examine whether the treatment of both the grants is correct. With minimum preparation, you attended class of, a nice teacher. You read Accounting Standard 12 once. With minimum preparation, your common sense says the accounting treatment given for both the grants, is ridiculously wrong. So the accountant is wrong, the company is wrong. So the accounting treatment is not correct. You know the answer, but do you know what is the challenge? How to put this answer on the paper to convince the marker to get 4 marks. So a qualified chartered accountant or a qualified person with a due training is evaluating your paper. How will you convince him? How will you request him? How will you persuade him? How will you please him to get 4 out of 4? Do you know there are people who got 90 plus in CA examinations even in final? There are people, we got 80s, 90s. How? Everything depends on presentation. I strongly believe the gap between, say there are 2 students A and B. A got 30 marks or 35 marks. B got 52 marks. Okay, so what is that? A got, I am giving you just one random example. There is a person A, Mr. A got 35 marks and there is a person B. B got 52 marks. Do you know what is the difference between A and B? The difference between A and B is knowledge. The difference between A and B is knowledge. So A's preparation is not adequate. This is one. Now the most important thing, there is a guy by name C who got 75 marks. Do you know what is the difference between B and C? I do not agree if you say the difference between student B and student C. If you say, Pawan sir, it is knowledge, I will not agree. I do not agree if you say there is a difference in the knowledge base of B and C. I strongly believe Mr. B, despite getting maybe 20-23 marks lesser than C, he might have put the same effort how much C has put. But why he got less marks? This difference is presentation. C knows how to present the answer, B does not know how to present the answer, but both of them read the same question, Santosh Limited question for 4 marks. Both of them know the answer, both of them studied Accounting Standard 12, but both of them did not put the answer in letters, in the same syntax, in the same sequence on paper in the answer sheet. B has written one type of answer, C has written another type of answer. How B might have written, I'll tell you. B might have generalized the sentences with his own English, own construction of sentence. C might have reproduced verbatim the language with its essence and flavor from the accounting standard. There ends the matter. So the presentation of C is far better. Then comes a guy who is D. Imagine he got 96 marks. Pawan sir, is it possible to get 96 marks? 99 marks. Do you know one student has got 100 in SFM in CA final? I'm serious. 99 is pretty much possible. Now tell me what is the difference between C and D? Again it is knowledge. It is not presentation. Because whatever the presentation skills D know, C also might have known all the presentation skills, but D has a different level of knowledge. Maybe his interpretation of law, his understanding of law, or maybe his skills, his analysis, his retention. So D might be unique and having some, features which are far superior to C. So what did you understand from this example? You should have appropriate knowledge, you should have appropriate presentation skill. Both combined, you will pass the exam. If you do not have knowledge, you cannot pass the exam. If you have knowledge and if you do not have presentation skill, then also it is difficult. If you have knowledge but no presentation skill, you might pass the exam with very low marks. But if you have knowledge and if you know how to present the answer, then there are chances that you will pass with a good margin of safety, marginal costing. So you will get more marks. Many students ask, Pawan sir, how you used to get marks? Simple, presentation. Now I will tell you how to present the answers. Now I'll tell you how to present the answers. Now look here. Okay. Say same question. You read the question once again. With the help of same question, I will demonstrate. Okay. Now look here. Question number, say for example, 6A. AS 12. Government grants. Under that, treatment of government grant in the books of Santosh Limited. So this is your heading. Pawan sir, is it required? Pretty much required. If you feel these kind of headings are not required, my dear friend, you are wrong. You are mistaken. Now, how to write this? Always write theory points wise. Always write problematic, problem solutions with boxes and proformas. Theory, points. Problems, box. Even a smallest, working note also, you have to prepare a box. So, how you have to write the theory is 1. According to AS 12, a government grant received for establishing industrial undertaking in a backward area is a specific grant which forms part of promoter's contribution. See the language. According to AS 12, government grant received for establishing an industrial undertaking in a backward area is a specific grant which forms part of promoter contribution. Such grants are to be credited to capital reserve and are not available for distribution of dividends. So what is this? This forms part of equity of the company. This is a capital reserve, specific donation, specific grant. It is not available for distribution of dividends. Point number 3. In the given question, Santosh Limited declared dividends from above government grant. Above government, in the given case, Santosh Limited declared dividends from, the above government grant, which is not in lines with the accounting standard. So, hence, the accounting treatment or utilization of grant is not in accordance with accounting standards. Because it is accounts question, I wrote it like this. If it is auditing question, same question can be asked in audit also, no? Do you know in auditing, some accounting standard questions also will be asked? Do you know that? For example, accounting standard 9, accounting standard 2, especially at final level. If it is auditing, then the last point should change. Being the company auditor, if I am the company auditor, being the company auditor, the above should be qualified with an appropriate modification in the audit report as per standard on auditing 700 or 705. Like that you need to write. But anyway, this is account, so this is done. So this is one part. Then you will write second issue. What is the second issue? Land given to the company by state government free of cost. Okay. Then you will write point number 5. An asset received free of cost by an entity. An asset received free of cost by an entity from government. From government should be recorded in the books of account at a nominal value. At a nominal value as per AS 12. So an asset received free of cost by an entity from government should be recorded in the books of account at a nominal value. In the given case, the entity received land from state government free of cost, and since there is no consideration paid, the entity did not record the transaction. This is what has happened. So if you observe, 5 is provision of law or principle from accounting standard, 6 is what has happened in the company, 7 is the discussion and conclusion. So try to understand how I am writing this. So I'll tell you the pro forma format. 1, always provision of law, or if there is any rule, provision of rule, or principle from accounting standard or standard on auditing. This should be your first one. 2, what actually has happened. So this is facts of the case. So part 1 is what is supposed to happen. What is step 1? What is supposed to happen as per CARO, as per rule 4 of the valuation rules, as per section 143 subsection 12, as per standard on auditing 220, as per income tax act section 2 subsection 24. Like that, first you write the first point. For that you will be given 1 mark. For that you will be given 1 mark. Then second point, actually what has happened? In the given case, the company received land from state government. So you are rewriting the question only, but that is the fact of the case. This is second part. For this you will get 1 mark. Then discussion and conclusion. For this you will get 2 marks. For this you will get 2 marks. So if you look at it, my point number 1, according to AS 12, I have written provision of law or provision of accounting standard. Then second one is such grants have to be credited the accounting treatment as per the standard I told. Then 3, if you see what has happened in the company, and 4 is the conclusion. 4 parts, 4 marks you will get. If you do not write in this pro forma, even if your answer is correct, don't expect 4 marks. You might get 2 or 2.5 only. That is the difference between Mr. B and Mr. C. So you don't want to be A, so delete him. You don't want to be A, delete him. You can't be D, delete him. You can't be D also. 96 marks if you are getting, I'm happy for you. But only, maybe 1%, less than 1%. What 1%? 0.1% people will get it. So normally people will fall in B and C only. Or sometimes A and B. Between A and B you will fall. That is the reason I am telling you, if you do not write answer in proper pro forma, do not expect 4 out of 4. ICAI is not giving charity. Marks they are not distributing. They are misers, okay? Like literal typical Gujarati Baniya businessman will be there, no? So like that they bargain in the marks. They will not give you 4 out of 4 easily. You have to win their hearts. Then they'll give you 4 out of 4. Okay, now, so what you have written in the given case, the entity received land from state government. This is facts of the case. Now you will write discussion and conclusion. Now you will write discussion and conclusion. The entity has not recorded, oh, that we have written in 6th point, no? So we write 7th point like this. Therefore, Santosh Limited must record the receipt of government grant in the form of land in the books at a nominal value. This is what that has to happen. 8. The accounting treatment given for receipt of government grant in the form of land is not correct as per AS 12. That's it. You will get full marks if you write it like this. You will get full marks if you write it like this. Then this is theory. When it comes to problems, say for example, they asked you to calculate NPV. They asked you to calculate NPV. So let us discuss about problems also. Calculate NPV. Do you know, even for calculation of NPV, you should have proper pro forma. If you do whatever you want, they'll not give you marks. Because in the exam, read every question. Typically, ICAI will write a beautiful love letter sentence to you. Like, I love you, I miss you. They'll write workings should form part of your answer. If you do not understand, my dear friend, I'm sorry. You have to understand that they want workings also. Now imagine, for example, I'll give you a small example. There is calculation of depreciation. So you write working note 1, calculation of depreciation on machine A. Particulars, rupees, cost of the asset 20 lakhs, expected salvage value 2 lakhs, depreciable value 18 lakhs, estimated useful life 3 years, depreciation per annum 6 lakhs. How many of you think, how many of you will write answer like this and put it in a box? People feel like, come on dude, I am writing CA Inter. 20 lakhs cost of the asset, 2 lakhs salvage value, 20 minus 2, 18, 3 years, 18 divided by 3 is 6 lakhs. So straight they will write depreciation 6 lakhs. You assume that the marker will understand your calculation implied. No. Why? He needs to understand your mind unless you put it like this. If you do not write like this, take my word, half mark gone. Pawan sir, are you serious? I am damn serious. You write this, you got half mark. Now imagine, in one question paper, how many questions will be there? Sometimes, 7 questions, 8 questions, subparts put together, 14, 15 questions will be there. If you are losing 1 mark in presentation per question, my dear friend, you are losing 15 marks in paper. 8 into 15, 120. How will you pass, idiot? So these are very important. Then you have to write step 1. Calculation of initial investment. Step 2, calculation of in between cash flows. Step 3, terminal flow. Step 4, calculation of NPV. Conclusion: since NPV is positive, the project can be accepted. How many of you will write answer like this? I'm sorry to say, I have seen enough students in my life, whether it is classroom or whether it is a mock exam, whether it is a main exam, they are not even bothered to put heading. Problem number 6. Table will start. Year, cash flow, present value factor, discounted. Are you kidding? Do you think you will get marks? No. Table, formatting, drawing lines, putting the headings, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, working notes, details, everything is required. Now student will ask, Pavan sir, for bloody 6 marks they gave NPV, for 6 marks do you think I have to write this much of time? So much of time waste will be there. Wasting 2 minutes for this is better, or wasting 6 months for next attempt is better? Wasting 2 marks for formatting and all is better, no? So please try to understand, this is where majority of the students fail. My dear friend, this is not your board exam, this is not a graduation exam. This is a different level exam. The difference is in board exams or graduation exams, when you are writing BCom exams, that is like a street cricket. Street cricket, ball hits wall, 4. Ball falls in, neighbor's house, out. Isn't it? 1 step catch, out. So you have your own rules. Easy. This is like you are playing a professional cricket. So if you do not have the proper guards, if you do not have, the proper preparation, your hand and leg will be fractured and you will be taken on a stretcher. So you have to be very careful. So what did I say? While writing theory papers, write it in bullet points. For 4 marks, you should write 4 to 6 points minimum, and that should be in a proper point manner. Point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, point number 4, like that. For 4 marks, if you write 1 side of A4 sheet, it is enough. You don't need to fill so many pages, okay? 4 marks question, 1 side of A4 sheet, 5-6 relevant points you have written, enough, you will get 4 out of 4. Even if you write 100 pages also, if it is irrelevant, you will not get 1 mark also. So this is about theory. So next, problematic paper, always tabulate. For example, if you are writing amalgamation, so they have given a big question and they said, pass the journal entries in the books of transferor company, pass the journal entries in the books of transferee company, prepare balance sheet after amalgamation in the books of, transferee company. This is what they have given. Then you have to write problem number 4. Working note 1. Calculation of purchase consideration. Nature of amalgamation. Purchase. Method of calculation of purchase consideration. Net payments method. Particulars, working rupees. Equity shares issued to equity shareholders. 10,000 into so and so, these many. Equity shares issued to preference shareholders. Preference shares issued to preference shareholders. Then, cash given to equity shareholders. Total. After that, note. Shares issued to debenture holders, cash paid to creditors and bankers will not form part of purchase consideration as per para 3G of the accounting standard 14, accounting for amalgamation. This is one part. Then you write, in the books of X Limited, transferor, journal entries, date, particulars, debit rupees, credit rupees. Then you write, in the books of Y Limited, transferee, method of accounting, again you will write method of accounting, purchase, pooling of interest method. Then you will write journal entries, you will calculate goodwill if required, then journal entries, and then you have to, write schedule 3 pro forma balance sheet. Then notes to accounts, share capital, underline, authorized share capital. Then you have to write, issued, called up, subscribed and paid up share capital. After that, equity shares, preference shares. Then note 2, reserves and surplus, capital reserves, revenue reserves, opening balance, add less, amalgamation, adjustment reserves. Okay, and then adjustment if you are taking the other company reserves, and then intercompany transactions or some cancellations are there, unrealized profits, something like this, you have to subtract. Then note 3, non-current liabilities, debentures, bonds, long-term loans, long-term provisions, current liabilities. Do you think without following this kind of proformas and, stepping pattern, do you think you will get marks? If you think so, my dear friend, please open your eyes, you will not get. So what is the summary? Follow the process. Like how Lord Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Don't expect the result. Don't take the tension of result. Chod do. That God will see. That ICA will see. What is my duty? My duty is I follow the process. I follow the procedure. That's all. Do this and see if you are not getting good marks. Any person who is doing this, see handwriting and all. Some students will say, Pawan sir, my handwriting is not good. That is the reason I'm getting less marks. Dude, you are not writing LKG exam, okay? No one will give you marks for handwriting. If your handwriting is as good as, monotype cursive in MS Word, and if you are writing shitty answer, do you think you will get marks for handwriting? Never. Even my handwriting is not beautiful, but my handwriting is clean. Okay, you might not be beautiful, but you can maintain your body properly, no? Possible. So, theory papers, stepwise, point-wise in bullet points. For 4 marks, 6 minutes. For 4 marks, 6 to 8 points, enough. When you are writing a case study, minimum 4 points should be there. 1, provision of law. Nowadays, if you see everywhere case studies, taxation case study, indirect tax case study, company law case study, business law case study, accounting standard case study, company audit case study, everywhere case study. So first, provision of law, provision of accounting standard. Then 2, facts of the case. 3, discussion. 4, conclusion. You will get 4 out of 4. This is how you need to write the exam. So I have told you what is there in the recent notification of ICI, and I have told you how to manage your time, how that 1 mark is equal to 1.5 minute came. Then I told you the importance of managing time. Then I told you how to write theory papers. Then I told you how to write problematic papers. Okay, so that's all from me. If you have any specific doubts, please write in the comment section or in the chat box. I will try to explain that. So from my side, it is over, and next few minutes I'll give you for discussion. If you have any questions, please ask me. I am live available.